This program is made possible in part by Strachan Van Til, your neighborhood supermarket.
I'm always looking for the evening to be an evening of all of us.
Music has a unifying effect on a community, and it affects pride in the community.
Sometimes just to see a child's face at a symphony orchestra live, it's amazing.
Everyone in the orchestra gives 100%, and that community that we have is fantastic.
We're playing music usually that was written over 200 years ago or 100 years ago, and I think that the Northwest Indiana Symphony is trying to present the music in new ways so that it stays exciting.
All of the arts in Northwest Indiana started out very much on the grassroots level. It was people who were finding opportunities, creating opportunities for themselves to be expressive. The orchestra was one of those outlets.
A friend of mine at high school told several of us about the fact that there was going to be a new orchestra starting in Gary. We assumed that since we were in a high school orchestra, we could be in another orchestra. There were music students from all over Gary at that first rehearsal, and the founder, Arthur Zach, kept all of us, as far as I know. We met at the YMCA in the choral room, and we practiced from 7:30 till 10. And if we practiced beyond 10, the residents upstairs would pound on the pipes.
The first concert was a pretty full audience. It was at Seaman Hall there in the City Church building. Pearl Harbor had been just announced. It was very emotional, and the conductor had us play the Star Spangled Banner, and everybody stood up and there was quiet. Very touching.
It may have started out in Gary, but along with the rest of Northwest Indiana, it became more regionalized.
During the 70s, the orchestra was professionalized. As the professional level grew from community orchestra to metropolitan status, we had players from Michigan, Indiana, and Illinois coming to audition and to play. As a beginning, it brought together people from different walks of life, different careers. Today, the same is true. In the earlier days, what was there to do on a Saturday night? Well, there weren't too many choices. Might as well go to the concert in the 40s. You know, this was a novel idea.
Classical music used to be more prevalent in society. I think that school children used to go to more concerts as an activity with their classes, and I think that general music education used to be a more prevalent part of a grade school.
Symphony is a very different place than it was 20 years ago. It has a lot of musicians, and it has a lot of classical music lovers kind of concerned.
People have talked about how orchestra's dying in our society and classical music, you know, is being pushed aside. But I think it's just in a transition phase right now. Even when I go to Chicago Symphony concerts, I still see most of the crowds older people. But there's also this newer generation of younger people that are involved that wear more casual clothing and are into the more exciting aspects of classical music.
Any organization needs somebody to be the face of that organization, because an organization's success is so much dependent upon relationships.
As conductors go, Kirk is relatively young, and he's very energetic, and he's an individual that younger people can relate to.
I love what he does with the orchestra. I love what he does with the community. I think the most important aspect of what he brings to the orchestra and to the community is the fact that he keeps it forward moving.
Because he's so passionate about what he does and he's such a fine musician, it makes me personally want to play better for him.
He's very visible. Like even just a small story. I have a little student who comes to the concerts, and she was at the dry cleaners in Cherville, and Kirk was there, and she said she felt like she was seeing a rock star.
The only thing I have to ask you tonight, please, is please no leprechaun jokes. Because the orchestra's been torturing me backstage.
He'll tell jokes, he'll comment on who we're hearing. He makes an effort when he brings in the young people's competition winners. You feel like you've connected with the orchestra because he speaks to the audience.
He has a lot of stage presence, and that transfers into the music. I think we did Beethoven Ninth Symphony a couple years ago, and I think it was the fastest Beethoven Ninth I ever played.
If there's a fast piece, he plays it fast. So that is, we played fast. So.
It seems like you really get it in your grasp, where you can really feel it in your hands, and you can feel the emotion. And then if he slows it down just a tad bit, we're right on. And you can feel it. You can feel the intensity because he gives so much.
And not only did we recognize that for some time now, and we credit him with doing so many wonderful things for our community and for music and for the youth of our community, but recently, in the art section, he was named Chicagoan of the Year.
Kurt's recognition as Chicagoan of the Year was a tremendous honor, and not just for him, but for the symphony and for Northwest Indiana. I think what it shows is that Kurt, as the musical director and leader, is a maverick, and that he is in so many ways.
He wants to break down this image that it's a stuffy atmosphere. During the mid to later half of the 20th century, it became pretty common in symphony orchestras for people to not applaud until the very end of a very long piece. And Kirk's view is more or less, if you enjoy what you just heard, clap. And if you're enjoying the silence, you're enjoying the mood, and you don't want to disrupt that, don't clap.
Not only do you get somebody that is very passionate about their music, very passionate about the orchestra, but you also get a business person.
He networks endlessly. I know he goes and speaks on the orchestra's behalf to businesses, and he goes and speaks on the orchestra's behalf to schools, and he tries to bring it to the people, so to speak.
I think that the symphony does reflect a lot of the personalities of the region, and I think that it's been their goal to reach out to as many different communities as they can and provide different types of music as it relates to those various communities.
Certainly when the orchestra goes out into the communities and people sit outside and listen, they seem to really love it. I think that people really want that exposure and that kind of entertainment.
I think what makes the Northwest Indiana Symphony so unique is the ability to encourage young people to join the fold, to get into music, to understand it, to appreciate it, and to spread the word, among their peers.
We do programs such as Young Artist Competition, where students get to audition to perform on our concerts.
Youth Symphony just itself really kind of helps push music students to the next level. It really pushes them on to become better at their instrument and to really excel in music. I think everybody in the Youth Symphony is really, really thankful for that because it's such a neat musical outlet.
The orchestras are starting to do more outreach in other ways, using donor funds, for instance, to send musicians to public schools.
Kirk's personality kind of wins the kids over, because I think the kids really look at Kirk to begin with. Honestly, I think most people, when they look at Kirk to begin with, they don't know what to expect out of him. And I think the kids are pretty much the same. But I do think his personality it makes everyone comfortable, people of all ages.
Kids ask me crazy questions. I'll talk to them after a concert, and they'll ask me if they could touch my hair, right? Or they'll say, is it real? They ask me, are my arms really, really tired? Where do I buy my sticks? Of course, kids are kids, like, how much money do you make? Does a violin cost more than a saxophone? Those are normal questions. If I was 7 years old, I might say, yeah, violin, does it cost more than a saxophone? Those kinds of things. if I could have a dream and I could know that every year, every student would somehow be touched, or we could help improve the musical sort of renaissance man and woman in each person in our community as they grow, that would be a wonderful dream come true for me. A great deal of what I do in a day has nothing to do with music or conducting or planning what I'm going to even say in the concert or even programming the concert. It's communicating with people, letting people understand what our future could be here, making sure that you thank people, that you're grateful to people who are helping you in any sort of manner, whether it's a volunteer or a donor.
There's different aspects, and we have quite a few different people that have different tasks and different skills. There's a librarian who gets the actual music. You have to be able to get things that are written for the orchestra, and sometimes if you do a pop piece, it might not necessarily be arranged for orchestra. So sometimes it takes a lot of research.
Hats off to all the guys that are backstage, 2 hours before the first musician even gets there. They're setting up chairs and making sure the lighting's okay.
You have the production manager who makes sure that all the stands and chairs are there, that the sound system's set up correctly. You have someone hiring the musicians to make sure the correct musicians that are required by the music are on that stage.
A lot of people think that we just show up, sit down, play our music, and we're done. But there's a lot going on from every individual and from every team. You have to be in shape, not only mentally but physically, to be able to perform some of these bigger works, and there's a lot that goes into it.
We buy recordings, we study recordings, we might buy 3 or 4 recordings of the same piece because we want to hear how this conductor interprets it, or we want to hear how this orchestra sounds playing it. So there's a lot of studying.
We're practicing, 2 hours before the rehearsal, go to the rehearsal, and then if there's time after the rehearsal, and then the next day do it all over again.
It takes a lot out of you, because when we have a classical concert, they're usually on Thursday nights, and then we practice Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and then we have the concert on Thursday. If you want to have an excellent performance, you have to have an excellent rehearsal.
Yeah, so horns, you and John can ba, 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 and sing bones, the open fifth, common reed, ba. Just back off, okay, please. Also, there's way too much sound at 7.
It's pretty normal for a conductor to sing to you or have his own way of saying, this is what I want.
No, brilliant.
Criticism is going to happen as a musician. You're going to get criticized, whether it's by the audience, by critics themselves, or by other musicians, or by conductor. I think the most important thing for a musician is to be flexible.
You're performing in a time, in a space that only exists for a few seconds. If you have a difficult passage that you're performing, you only get one chance on a concert. You don't get to say, oops, sorry, I get to do it again. It doesn't work that way, so you have one shot at it. And that's the difficult thing, the high pressure part of performing. Well, we rehearse and re-rehearse and re-rehearse, and then comes the performance. And there's a different psyche that clicks in when you're performing. And hopefully everything is happening as you rehearsed it.
After I leave the house, and I know how much pressure it's going to be to get there on time and get ready to sit down, and then you just take that deep breath, and here we go.
It has to be like, good evening, everyone. We're all here together. This person's playing the viola. I'm waving a stick. You're sitting enjoying the music. But we're all in this together. We're having an experience together, an amazing experience. That's very fragile and very in a moment. It's going to vanish in an hour. It will never happen again.
To this day, I still get nervous before a concert. And as soon as you walk out on the stage and you sit down, you tune and you play that first note, I can barely describe it to you.
I wish that everybody could experience the feeling that you have when everybody's performing together, and it's some of the fabulous works, especially in the classics. You get chills running down your neck.
You're going to feel something honest. If it's just playing all the right notes in the right place and singing the right words with the right consonants and all those things, it's not music. It's just a bunch of robo stuff.
Entertainment isn't just the little black dots on the page and the sound that comes out because of those little black dots. I'm not sure that that's it. I think it's the way that the performers actually approach the music, how much they like it, how much they enjoy performing. And it's one of the things about the orchestra is I can't remember a concert where I haven't found that people have enjoyed playing.
That's one thing I absolutely love about being in Northwest Indiana Symphony is that I get to do everything from, symphony by Rachmaninoff to music from Harry Potter. It's just really fascinating to be exposed to so much different music.
If it's a good arrangement and it's well performed and it's honest, then the musicians are fine with it. And actually the audience will love it. And I've made the 16-year-old happy, and I've made maybe the 86-year-old person happy, and the person who really loves this kind of music happy, and the person who's dying for a little bit of this happy.
Hi, Ruth Ann. It's Kirk Muspratt calling back from the Symphony. I wanted to thank you again for your Just Ask Kirk card, and I'm sorry I haven't been able to reach you in person. Our hours must be conflicting.
You get to know your audience by being accessible to them. I try to do it by creating things like Just Ask Kirk cards. And my vow is that I will answer every single Just Ask Kirk card. Sometimes I do it at the concert. I come out at intermission and I'll pick 3 or 4. And in doing just that, I've not just answered 3 questions, but I've said, hello everyone, how are you doing tonight? And we're having a conversation. And we're all part of one room, and we're sort of having a communion here. We're having an experience together. It's not that I only walk out, I don't talk, I got my tails, and I got my baton, music, walk off stage, go to my dressing room. No, it can't be that for me.
Don't be afraid to just hang with the musicians, talk to them, give them some food, whatever you want to, okay?
I want us to do interactive intermission so that the musicians and the audience touch each other. As soon as I come off the stage manager hands me a bunch of cards, and I actually run out to the front of the hall. And I want the musicians to do that too.
I know the first time Kirk suggested it, we were sitting back there, oh no, we've got to, this is our time to relax. But I found out that there were people that remember me when I was that teenager, and they've been there forever, and it was the first time they had a chance to talk to me.
I think people like knowing that they can get an expert's answer. It might be something they've always wondered, and all of a sudden here's someone that they consider an expert.
This young lady, don't you think she's ready to almost join our youth orchestra?
What do you play?
She plays the viola.
Well, yeah.
Then you're in, right?
You come out of a concert and you're thinking, oh, I love that flute player. She's so interesting. I want to meet Cindy. I've always watched her play. I wonder, my daughter's 8 years old. I wonder if the flute's a good instrument. That's exactly what I want. I want you to feel like you can walk up to me, to the bass player, to the trumpet player, and say, hi, how are you today? What was it like playing that Beethoven? Wasn't it too fast?
You're there to enrich their lives and to make it a positive experience for them. So it's nice to have that more interactive experience.
If you listen to the person, how do they feel about you as they walk away? Are they going to come back? Are they going to support you? Are they going to care about you? Those are the reasons that we do interactive intermission.
We have such fun at the concerts. It's just looking at it in a different way. It's like, why not? Why not act like you're having fun? Because you are inside. Why not show it outside too?
The musicians are fantastic and the music is fantastic, but there's just that element of, to have fun on stage, I think is a nice thing for the audience to see, instead of a bunch of stiff guys in tuxes,
Halloween concert's just a ball. Doesn't matter if you dress up as a monster or you dress up as Little Orphan Annie, it's just fun.
That concert with everyone in the costumes has to be the high point of the season because you never know what Kirk is going to do.
I've been a pirate, I've been Eveline, I've been a caterpillar. I can't remember them all right now, but those are a few of them.
The funniest time we had must have been about 2 years ago when he comes out on this cardboard horse and he has the full armor. As he starts to conduct, the top keeps slamming down on his face, and we're sitting here and he's talking about, don't laugh. He's conducting away. And those are the kind of things that I think endear him, not only to the orchestra, but to the audience.
Us doing that with our audience tells them, hey, we're fun, we've got a sense of humor, and we understand that everybody wants to have a fantasy and fun, whether they're 97 or they're 3 years old.
In today's day and age, with iPods and MP3 players, nothing can compare to the live experience of 70, 80, 90 musicians on stage. Literally, you sit back and whether you close your eyes and it looks like you're sleeping, but you're not, that sound is just far above and beyond any kind of music you can hear from a pair of Bose speakers.
Anyone who goes to a live performance of any type always leaves invigorated in some way.
You know, there's moments where you're like, oh my God, you know, all this driving and why am I doing this? But then when the performance is over and everybody's clapping, you feel like you've accomplished something.
The people who are doing it are absolutely not doing it for the money. They're doing it because they have no choice. They must be musicians.
When you get a responsive audience, it's fantastic. And I think I'll keep playing as long as I feel that desire and that excitement. It's another world.
My highest goal for music personally was to be in a fine orchestra. I feel that I have, through the Northwest Indiana Symphony, reached that goal.
It has nothing to do with the external appearance of musicians in tuxedos. It really has everything to do with inner expression and inner feelings and enjoyment.
We hope that we're completely in touch with every one of our patrons and citizens here, and that they feel that we know them, we understand them, we like them, we care about them, and we're great.
This is the cultural gem of Northwest Indiana. I love this symphony. I love it. This is my social life, to come to the Northwest Indiana Symphony Orchestra concerts.
I think that what I find so exciting is, of course, the wonderful music that's played, but also the excitement that's generated.
Well, there's nothing like live orchestra. I mean, nothing. You can't capture the sound in any way other than
It's just
to be
beautiful.
in the symphony hall.
It is so pretty.
The audience involvement, if you will, is wonderful, and his explanation of things and his introductions are quite good, so that you really get a feel for what they are doing and can appreciate it.
I think anytime a community has a cultural asset such as a symphony, that it adds a lot of value in terms of, I think, just enriching people's souls.
If you enjoyed A Twist on Tradition and you'd like your own DVD copy of the program, you can order by calling 1-888-248-5656. Operators are standing by and credit cards are accepted.